Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to the MHDO Payer Data Submitter webinar. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Oh, okay. Kate, are you moving those or is that my screen?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. Just a couple of things, just as reminders, if you could keep your phone muted, submit your questions via the chat feature, and we'll get to as many of the questions as we can before the end of today's meeting. And for those that we can't answer, we'll get back to you in an FAQ that we'll post in the portal. And a recording of the webinar will be distributed after the webinar and made available on our website. So we quickly want to review some of the process issues relative to Chapter 243 and 247. This year, nothing's changing in terms of the layout for what needs to be submitted beginning in 2023. So before we jump into the details, I just want to take a minute and thank all of you and your colleagues for your data submissions this past year. I know it's been a crazy couple of years, and your commitment to meeting the deadlines and the follow-up with questions and with issues and addressing those in timely ways has really been great. And I know it hasn't been easy. I know you have a lot of competing priorities. And so on behalf of the Maine Health Data Organization and my team, I just want to thank you all. I think, you know, our data is seen as one of the best, most comprehensive set of data in the country. And I think there's a reason for it. And again, I just want to thank you. So with that, Kate, I think this next slide, I'm going to turn the presentation over to you. Kate Mullins is with our data vendor, HSRI, and has been presenting at these meetings for years now. So, and Phil Bono, our compliance officer, is on the phone as well, and will help field any questions as we walk through this. So again, I'll turn it over to Kate, and thank you again for taking the time to be here this afternoon. We'll try and get through this as quickly as possible. So Kate.
Great, thank you, Karen Lee. I'll just echo what Karen Lee said. Thank you for all your contributions and questions and feedback that you've sent us and over the last couple of years. I know we've been doing this a long time, but I definitely just continue to see so many opportunities for us to continue to do better and support you all in meeting those requirements. So first, we're just going to highlight some reminders about Chapter 243, which is the rule for reporting the healthcare claims data sets. Just going to quickly walk through some reminders about user account access and permissions, annual registration deadlines, what to do if you have unknown or unavailable data, and a couple of reminders about resolving validation failures. So first, just a reminder that if you come to the MHDO Payer Data Portal and find that you're not able to log in for whatever reason, there is a Forgot My Password feature that we encourage you to use to access that information. We know sometimes not everybody's accessing it on a monthly basis. So if you need to use that, it is there. And also just a reminder that user permissions can be changed by the administrators within your company. That's a particular role held by some individuals. And if the administrators are no longer with your company, you're welcome to contact the MHDO Help Desk for assistance in making those permission updates so that somebody is an administrator and can manage user accounts and permissions on behalf of your company. As the earlier slide mentioned, just there is a deadline for annual registration updates that just passed. It's February 28th of each year. But just in addition, administrators should always update user permission and contact information as often as needed to maintain timely and focused communication. If there's staffing changes within your organization, we encourage you to make those updates in the portal as soon as they happen, just to ensure that the right folks are receiving communications, automated communications from the portal and also from the MHDO about reminders or upcoming changes. That is our mailing list for sending out those communications as well. And then administrators must also carefully review and revise the payer details section of the summary screen prior to confirming the annual update. This information is crucial in us knowing which file types to expect, and the compliance report is based off of that information as well. And again, automated reminders go out using that information. As I said, the 2023 annual registration deadline has passed. If you haven't done so already, please make sure and go to do that as soon as possible. At a minimum, this information needs to be reviewed and updated annually. But as we said, if there are other changes that happen throughout the year related to staffing or changes in the volume of data you submit or file types, we encourage you to do it, make those updates as they occur. A couple of things I just wanted to highlight if you haven't seen it already. In the summary screen, which is part of that annual registration process, there is a new question to indicate if your plan is vision only. So this is under the medical claims question. You can indicate whether or not you're submitting vision only data. Again, another just reminder based on questions and feedback we've received at MHDO or the help desk. Just a reminder to ensure that when information is not known or is unavailable, we expect the field to be left blank rather than providing some kind of system default. One example is ME008, which is the subscriber social security number. Chapter 243 indicates, if it's unavailable, we want you to leave it blank. We don't want you to put in some kind of a default value. It is preferable to explain and override a profile level failure regarding population because a field does not meet that threshold rather than requesting an exemption on invalid content. So as I said, this is just one example. There are a number of other fields where the same thing would apply. And Chapter 243 does call this out in a couple of specific places where, again, just a reminder to leave it blank if you do not have it. And then just when it comes to resolving validation issues, we do just a couple of reminders regarding the need to resolve structural level failures before attempting to resolve any others. If it's a file format issue, you're sort of forced to do that. You can't resolve anything through the portal, but there are a number of other structural level rules, such as the submission period being locked or historical volume failures. They need to be resolved before you're able to resolve any of the other field level validation rules. And also the start and end dates for exemption override requests, they need to cover the date range for the data, regardless of when the exemption is requested. So even if you're resubmitting historical data, you need to make sure those dates cover that period, that data period. Next, just gonna again provide a couple of reminders related to Chapter 247, which is the submission of non-claims-based payment and other supplemental healthcare data sets. As part of Chapter 247, there's also a requirement for an annual registration to occur by February 28th of each year. This is sort of done in tandem with the 243 updates, but there are a couple specific questions related to these data sets, and I'll cover that in a moment. And again, just a reminder that the annual data submission and attestation due date is August 31st of 2023. So again, just at minimum, we want the registration information to be updated annually. And if you have not done that, to make sure you do that, including these specific questions related to the 247 data. So in the registration update, there's a non-claims-based payment question. So asking you to indicate whether your company submits those data and then provide the types if known. And there also is a new question about whether or not you're going to be submitting redacted medical and/or pharmacy claims data. Again, this information drives what is ultimately in the compliance report in terms of expected file types. So please ensure you've taken a look at this and made those updates. And if applicable, if you are submitting any of those file types, each company must designate at least one person for each contact type that's listed below. You want an administrator, a compliance contact, and a data submitter for each of those file types. And again, we use that information to send out automated reminder emails from the portal, and also use it as a mailing list for communications that the MHDO sends out. Again, just a reminder that when non-claims-based payment or aggregated redacted claims-based payment files are required by your organization, supporting information files are also required. The supporting information files really provide some contextual information about the types of plans or programs being used for those non-claims-based payments, and then for the redacted claims, providing the methodology in which those claims have been redacted from your 243 files. So again, just a reminder that this information is extremely helpful and needed in terms of understanding those data files that get submitted. There are sample supporting information files that are available in the portal if you need guidance on what's expected. Again, just a reminder about due dates coming up later this year. Files containing the 2022 data and the attestations are due by August 31st of 2023. And on the screen, just a reminder, the attestation portion of this is to be completed through the portal interface. And finally, as always, just a reminder about support resources. The MHDO Help Desk is available to answer technical questions related to the portal submissions, are available via the portal, email, or phone. Compliance issues can be sent to Philippe Bonneau, the compliance officer at MHDO. His email is provided. And that's it as far as our reminders. Again, feel free to send us any questions you have in the chat. And we are a fairly small group, so if you do want to come off mute and ask those questions, please feel free to do so. I'll just pause for a moment.
Kate, I don't see any questions in the chat.
Oh, not me either.
So I don't want to keep people longer than needed. Are there any questions that anybody wants to raise now?
Apparently, it looks like Donna just submitted a question as far as plan changes. So for chapter 243, there are definitely no changes that have been implemented this year, beginning with the January submissions that started. Currently, do you want to address 247?
And I think that will most likely, and Kate, remind me, the next submission for 247 would be, is it October?
It's August.
August of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be no changes for this round, but there may be for next year. And we'll keep you posted on those potential changes, but nothing for this August.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, do you have an exact date?
Yes. The 247 are due by August 31st. Last year, I think we did do, because it was the first year, it was in October. But the rule states August 31st of each year.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, you know how to get a hold of Philippe. You know how to get a hold of me. So if you do have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, really appreciate you taking the time to get on this call. The recording will be posted. So if you want to share it with colleagues, feel free to do so. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.